welcome back for a new round of box office predictions. First up on the agenda today, of course, is the Fantasy Movie League recap. I rebounded a little bit. It's going to take a while for me to get back into that top 100, but I'm working on it. Also, this week, we did have 3 players get that perfect lineup after no players getting it last week. And so those 3 players are Dewey Cox Memorial Cineplex, Ugly Leopard's Cineplex, the Cineplex of Picard Earl Grey. Very well done, guys, and prepare yourself for a big weekend in Fantasy Movie League this weekend, because there are going to be 3 Halloweens to choose from, not just one. We are dividing them into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so watch out for that. I think that movie's going to make a lot of money, and we're going to get to it. But first, we have to recap what wound up happening with the top 5 last weekend, and I did wind up going 5 for 5 again, and my numbers were a bit closer this time around too. Venom held on even better than I thought it would, dropping just 56.4% and making another $35 million. Then it was A Star Is Born, which also held on well. That one dipped a mere 33.7% and made another $28.4 million. The number 3 position went to First Man, which opened under expectations, taking $16 million. Then it was Goosebumps 2, Haunted Halloween at number 4, which came pretty close to my number and totaled $15.8 million for weekend 1. And then finally it was Smallfoot closing out the top 5 with another $9.1 million. Moving into this weekend's predictions now, I was thinking about putting Goosebumps at my number 5, but I think The Hate U Give is gonna outperform it. The movie is getting its wide expansion this weekend, and so far it's performing pretty well. When it was only in 36 theaters, it made $512,000, and then when it hit 248 theaters, it made $1.7 million. With that theater count, it had a per theater average of about $7,000. Let's say that per theater average comes down all the way to $3,000, which I think might even be a little low, but even if that happens, The Hate U Give is still making another $7.5 million this weekend. Now moving over to number 4, that's where I have last weekend's newcomer, First Man. With this one, I'm looking at the movie Allied. So that one came out 2016. It also had some big headliners in Brad Pitt and Marion Cotillard, and at the time it did have some light Oscar buzz. That movie, though, opened with a little less than First Man, $12.7 million. Then in weekend 2, it dropped about 45%. The thing is, though, I think First Man has a lot more buzz than that movie did, but that movie had a lot less competition in weekend 2 than what First Man is facing this time around, which kind of makes me want to keep that percent change, what I think is a little high, and right there where Allied landed, which is 45%. And if that's what First Man winds up losing this weekend, it's making $9 million. Moving on to number 3 this week now, the time has finally come for 2 movies that I've been talking about for a little while to switch places. I think that A Star Is Born is going to top Venom this time around, so Venom's getting my number 3 spot. Even if Venom does keep performing strong and maybe even stay right in line with Logan, it's still heading towards a 54% drop. And when you're comparing that to A Star Is Born, that percent change for A Star Is Born is just going to be so low that at this point Venom can't quite compete with it. But even if it does drop 54%, we're still talking about another $16 million for Venom. And when you're talking about a movie that I thought was going to be really front-loaded, that's a really solid amount for weekend 3 in theaters. But now, of course, it does bring us to our number 2, and it's A Star Is Born. I'm going right back to my The Martian comparison from last weekend for this one, and in particular to look at the percent change trends here. So for The Martian in weekend 3, the percent change went up. So if I do the same thing to A Star Is Born and I take its 33.7% dip and maybe bring it up to 37%, we're still talking about a $17.5 million haul for A Star Is Born, which is quite the number there. But now it's time for the new one. For the big one this weekend, it's Halloween at number 1. The last projection I saw for this one was about $65 million, but I've been keeping an eye on ticket sales. We're talking about a movie with really great buzz. Halloween, the holiday, is right around the corner, and this is the return of a beloved horror franchise. I think this one is just gonna blow expectations away. I have nothing to compare it to. I'm going on gut and some of the early numbers that I've seen so far. And I'm thinking this movie is just going to crush the competition with $75 million total for its first weekend in theaters. It is recap time now. I've got Halloween at number 1, opening big with $75 million. A Star is Born coming in at number 2 with $17.5 million. Venom taking the number 3 spot with $16 million. Then it's First Man at number 4 with $9 million. And The Hate U Give rounding out the top 5 with $7.5 million. All right, guys, that's it. My predictions for the weekend now. I leave it to you. Hit that comment section below. Put your top 5 right there. I am so curious to hear what you guys think Halloween is going to make this weekend. And of course, going over to Fantasy Movie League, the Predictions with Perri League URL and password is in the description section of this video. Get in on the action because it's going to be a big weekend with Halloween having 3 different options to choose from. So start planning your lineup right now. And I've got some Patreon shout-outs to give, and it's for a special group because all 3 of these names are PNemi Patreon newcomers, and I'm so happy they're here. They are Caleb, Ian, and Nathan. I've had the chance to chat a little with you guys, and it was wonderful. I'm so happy that you're part of the campaign. Thank you for being here, and thanks to everybody out there watching this video. Don't forget to like and share it, and I'll see you next weekend for more box office predictions.